Hey, this is Jace with Popcorn Recap. Today we'll be discussing a science fiction film called In the Tall Grass. This movie was adapted from a short story by Stephen King and his son Joe Hill. Like many Stephen King stories, the ending to this film isn't great, but the journey there is still a fun ride. Becky and her brother Cal drive to San Diego. A very pregnant Becky becomes a little nauseous, so Cal pulls over near a church. Becky is second-guessing the trip. Cal encourages her that this is the right decision. As they're about to drive off again, Becky says she hears something. A boy is screaming for help in the tall grass. Cal decides to pull the car off the road and parks by the church so they can help the boy calling for help. The boy says he's been stuck in the grass for days. We see a book face down on the side of the road by the fields. A woman is also heard in the field of grass telling the boy to stop calling. Cal assumes the boy is in very close proximity to the road and decides to go in to help. Becky follows Cal close by while she calls 911 on her cell phone. After losing reception, Becky realizes she lost Cal in the grass. Becky then suggests they head back to the car and call for help since something doesn't seem right. In order to locate each other through sound, Becky recites a rhyme. There once was a woman named Jill. Cal realizes Becky's voice is coming from his right, and then suddenly her voice is coming from his left. They agree to jump to figure out each other's location. On the first jump, they're near each other, but on the second jump, they're much farther away, even though neither of them have taken a single step. Becky falls into the mud after the jump. Cal decides to run toward Becky in a panic. Now Cal falls into the mud and sees a dead dog named Freddy with flies hovering all over him. As the sun goes down and both are stranded in the field, Becky anxiously calls him again. Becky gets really tired, so she just sits there waiting for Cal to find her. As she sits there, a man named Ross comes to her and offers his help to take her out of the field. He says he's found a way out but did not leave because he's looking for his wife Natalie and son Tobin. Ross asks Becky to follow him so they can look for Cal. She has no choice but to trust him. As time passes, Cal calls for Becky again and again but doesn't get a response back. As he sits there disappointed, Tobin, the boy calling for help earlier, appears from the grass. He consoles Cal and says it's easier to find things once they're dead. Cal asks if Tobin was the one who lured them into the field, but Tobin says he and his family went in because they heard a man calling for help. He also cannot remember how long he and his family have been in there. Tobin predicts that Cal's sister Becky will be dead soon. Cal asks Tobin how he knows about their relation, to which Tobin mysteriously replies that the rock told him the truth. Tobin says the rock teaches how to hear the grass, and that's how you get to know about things. Cal asks about Becky's location again, so Tobin takes him to her. Ross and Becky both talk about her baby. Ross suspects by Becky's body language that the father of the baby is not with her. On their way, Becky finds medicine bottles and scissors on the ground and gets confused about how these things got there. As Becky looks up, Ross is not there. She calls for him but doesn't get an answer, so she calls Cal. As she looks around and tries to call her brother again, something from the grass grabs her and takes her into the grass. Tobin takes Cal to the mysterious giant rock and urges him to touch it. A full moon right above the rock is the only source of light. As Cal is about to touch it, we hear whispers and what seems to be tribal chant. Right before Cal touches it, we hear Becky screaming, so he runs in the direction of her voice. Tobin warns him to not go in there, but he ignores him and keeps running to Becky. On a clear sunny day, a truck stops at a gas station on the same road as the church. It's Travis, Becky's ex, looking for Becky and Cal. Travis continues his journey and spots Becky and Cal's car parked by the church. He inspects the car, which looks like it's been there for weeks. He calls and looks for them, but there's no response. He enters the church to find them, but the church is abandoned. On his way out, he sees the book on the ground. He picks it up and sees Becky's name on it. Travis decides to enter the field of grass as he suspects they went in. Thinking ahead, Travis folds the grass and follows the sun so he can keep track on how to get back. Unfortunately, the grass decides to unfold itself. Then Travis realizes the sun he was trying to keep track of is not in the correct spot. He gets confused but keeps moving until night. He gets tired, so he stops and lies on the ground. He stares at Becky's photo because he misses her so much. Tobin pops out of nowhere and Travis is spooked. They hear whispers and laughter in the tall grass. Travis becomes confused when Tobin tells him he knows his name. Tobin tells Travis that he knows he's looking for Becky and can take him to her. Travis goes with him and finds Becky's dead body right in the middle of the field. He runs toward her and starts crying. Tobin once again says the grass doesn't move dead things. It makes them easier to find. Travis looks up and Tobin is gone. The next morning, Travis wakes up and sees Becky's dead body right beside him. He picks up a necklace from her body and starts moving again. He hears someone and starts calling for help. Tobin responds back, "Is someone out there?" Travis calls for Tobin again and tells him it's Travis. We now see a clean Tobin outside of the field of grass, who's there with his mom, Natalie, his dad, Ross, and the dog, Freddy. It's at this moment we realize there is some sort of time loop. Freddy runs into the field and Tobin follows him. Natalie, his mother, tries to stop him. Travis realizes Tobin is outside the field, so he warns him not to come back inside. But it's too late. At first, Ross and Natalie are together, but Natalie thinks she heard Tobin nearby and splits up. Night falls and Ross is still looking for his family. Ross comes across the mysterious rock. The next morning, we hear Tobin calling for help while Becky and Cal are outside the field once again. Travis is already in the field. As he hears Becky's voice, he calls her back, and this time both Becky and Cal hear him and reply to him. Travis tells him that he came looking for them. Becky gets confused about Travis's presence there. Tobin starts to recite the rhyme Becky said at the beginning of the film. Travis follows the sound of Tobin's voice and finds Tobin. Becky does the same and is reunited with Travis. Finally, Cal shows up and they see Freddy the dead dog. The situation gets more suspicious as Travis tells them that they've been missing for 2 months. Becky and Cal do not believe him because according to them, they only left 2 days ago. Becky feels like someone is watching them. Travis picks up Tobin on his shoulders so he can get a clear view to find a way out for them. Luckily, he spots a building and they start walking toward it. Cal asks Travis if he told anyone about them, hoping that someone will come looking for them, but Travis says he didn't tell anybody. Becky feels a pain in her belly. Becky and Travis talk about the baby. Becky tells Travis that it's a girl, and she calls her Ginny. He touches her belly and tries to feel the baby. Suddenly, they receive a call from Becky, who cries on the call and asks them to not let Cal hurt Travis, as they will keep making the same mistake again and again. It all seems unbelievable as Becky stands right there with them listening to the call. They keep moving. As they move further, someone watches them through the grass. Becky slips in the mud. She sees mysterious visions of a baby, tall grass, and strange people coming toward her. She gets scared and faints. Cal and Travis run toward her. Ross comes and tries to rescue her. He says he can lead them out. Travis tells him about the building they saw. He lifts Tobin again, but he cannot see the building this time. Ross strangely says it's how things work in here. As they keep walking, they reach the rock again. It's a giant rock with carvings all over it. Strangely, Ross knows about its history and explains it to them. He urges Cal to touch it, but before he does, Natalie comes out of the grass and stops him. Natalie surprisingly tells her own husband to stay away from them. She tells them that Ross is lying. She also tells them that she saw Becky and Ross before, but Becky wasn't alive, and Ross tried to hurt Natalie. Ross denies this. As they talk, Becky sees visions again. This time she also sees Ross in the grass. She urges Travis and Cal to leave. They try to get Natalie and Tobin to go with them, but Ross tells them to touch the rock. Travis and Ross have an argument that leads to a fight. Becky shouts at Cal and asks him to help Travis, but he does not. Ross keeps insisting that Travis should touch the rock so he can know everything the grass knows. Ross leaves Travis and attacks Natalie, smashing her head with his bare hands. As they run away from Ross, Tobin sees Freddy there and runs after him. They all follow him and reach an abandoned building. Travis and Cal both blame each other for this mess and start fighting. Cal blames Travis for abandoning Becky and says Travis wanted Becky to abort the baby. Becky scolds both of them. Travis claims Cal just wants to be with Becky, so Cal throws a punch. The two start to fight. Ross catches up and tries to break the door. They all run to the roof and look around to find a way out. They see the church across the field, but they have to go through the grass to reach it, so they try to figure out another plan. Travis sees Freddy, but he disappears in the grass. They think there's a hole that can lead them out. Travis tries to have a closer look at the field by standing on the edge of the roof, but suddenly slips, and Cal doesn't try to save him, so he falls to the ground. Tobin sees Cal. He tries to explain to Tobin, but Ross is coming. They all run again. Becky asks about Travis and refuses to leave without him. She's angry with Cal as she thinks he's done something to Travis. She walks away from him. Cal tries to follow her, but Ross doesn't catch him. He knows the truth about him and Travis. Cal tries to escape, but Ross does not let him go and holds him to the ground. As Cal fights for his life, we see many dead bodies in the field of grass. Travis gets up and starts looking for Becky again. They can hear each other but can't see each other. Travis tells Becky that Cal loves Becky a little too much. They both lie in the grass and talk about their child again. Travis expresses his happiness over Becky's decision of keeping their child. Becky confesses that she was not going to keep the child, and that's why they were going to San Diego. There was a family there who wanted the baby. Travis comforts her and says he will find a way out. Ross attacks Becky. She attacks back with the scissors that she found on the ground, but Ross disarms her. Ross brings her down to the dirt, and Becky grabs the scissors again and stabs Ross in the eye. Becky runs. It starts to rain. Becky sees people coming to her from all sides. The people have grass coming out of them. They hold her, and she disappears in the grass. Becky is lying in the mud in front of the rock. She pulls her phone out and makes a call. It's the same call they heard earlier about not letting Cal hurt Travis. She sees the same people coming toward her. She screams out of pain as she delivers the baby. She hears the baby crying but cannot see her. A ditch appears on the ground. Becky stands there at the edge and looks into it. She sees many people down there clinging to the branches of an old tree trying to come out. She screams and moves away. After time passes, Becky lies there exhausted. She opens her eyes slowly and asks about the baby. Cal, who is present there, tries to calm her down and gives her some water. He holds a baby and shows it to her. Becky is relieved to see her. She closes her eyes again. Cal tries to feed her the grass. She's really hungry, so she does not refuse and eats it. All of a sudden, Becky realizes she may be eating her own flesh. Travis is badly injured but keeps searching for Becky. He finally reaches her and sees her unconscious. Becky opens her eyes and asks about the baby again. Travis touches her belly and realizes the baby is gone. He cries out of sorrow. Tobin tells him that his father killed the baby and Cal. Tobin says it's never going to stop, that his dad will kill them over and over again. As Tobin is really scared and starts to cry, Travis hugs him and says he won't let anybody hurt him. Travis shouts and asks Ross if he wants to kill him. Ross appears from the grass and attacks Travis. He tries to kill him. Tobin screams and demands him to stop. Ross attacks Travis with a bone and he falls to the ground. Tobin tries to run, but Ross catches him. He grabs him and forces him to touch the rock, but Becky gets up and hits him from the back. He leaves Tobin. Becky falls to the ground again. Travis stands up and attacks Ross. He hits his head against the rock and tries to choke him by tying the grass around his neck. Travis chokes Ross and goes to Becky. He holds her and cries. Then he looks at the rock and thinks about touching it. Tobin tries to warn and stop him by saying that if he touches it, he would not be able to leave. Travis does not listen to him and touches it anyway. He feels something. A red light emerges from the rock and spreads all across the field. Travis appears different. Tobin is afraid of him, so he starts to run away, but he holds his hand and asks him to come with him. Both start running. Travis says he will not leave, but Tobin has to go. He asks him to go out and warn Becky and Cal not to come inside the field. He gives Tobin Becky's necklace and pushes him out of the field. In the next scene, Tobin stands in the attic of the church. He opens the door and slowly walks through the hall. When he comes out, he sees Becky and Cal's car standing on the road. They both are about to enter the field because they heard someone calling for help. Tobin runs to them and stops them. As he tries to explain it to them, his voice still comes from the field, but Tobin says not to pay attention to it. Cal is confused. As the voice continues calling for help, Cal edges closer to the field. Tobin is frightened. He cries and requests Becky to not let Cal go in because if he goes in, she'll follow him and they'll never get out. Becky asks about his parents, but he does not answer and continues to ask them to leave. He gives Becky the necklace. It looks old and worn out. Becky has the same in her other hand. She looks at both of them. Tobin says Travis gave it to him. Cal is just about to enter the field, but Becky stops him. Becky doesn't feel right, so she asks to leave. They all go in the car and take Tobin with them. Cal starts the car. Becky asks him to go back instead of continuing their journey. She regrets her decision to leave in the first place. Cal asks about the family they were going to give the child to, but Becky replies that she has her own family now. Travis listens to their discussion from inside the field. He's satisfied with her decision. He lies there in the grass, wounded, and the grass covers him. What a convoluted ending. Nothing is really explained, but at least we get some closure to the character stories. Thanks for tuning in to Popcorn Recap. Please remember to like and subscribe so you can be the first to know when new content has been uploaded. Bye! Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.